I got too many hoes, but they ain't you.
Is this visible?
You like to put that shit in your
It
nose,
doesn't matter.
but I still love you. You doing shit that nobody knows. In the streets, they be thinking you a lady, but at home, if you ain't nasty, don't add me. I've been working all day. I like to come.
Yeah. You ready? You ready? All right. Welcome back to 40i Amped. I'm here with Judson Lincoln, 40i member, Virginia Tech Hokie, 5 times ACC champ, 4 times All-American, and he was ranked number 1 U20 in the world in 2023. Judson, I'm here with you. I'm happy to be here. Got anything to say?
It's a pleasure. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man. All right, so we're going to just jump right into it. In the context of track, what does it mean to you to be a trailblazer?
I think for me, I'm trying to work to get more eyes on me, being kind of not in the spotlight yet, being close this past season, getting the conference record, winning the ACCs multiple times last year. I think it was really important to kind of put me on the map. But I still think like me being where I'm at, being from Maryland, not as many eyes as Florida, Texas, going to VT, being in the ACC doesn't get the same respect as SEC or I guess even Big Ten now. So I think me just constantly putting in the work, putting in the effort, and letting the results show would definitely like put me a long way. And I think as I collect more accolades, I think my personality will show, like stuff like this, other interviews, things like that. So I think I'm working towards the Trailblazer title, but I'm like silently, like just working, trying to get to that title.
That's big, and I mean it's important to just like keep working towards those next things for you. But what I mean to ask is like, what would it mean to you to kind of pave a way for others in the track scene?
I think it would be really important just to kind of spread a light on, track isn't just a sport you can just get up and do. People are talented in multiple different sports. But I think, especially in high school, like people didn't make the basketball team, didn't make the football team, whatever. Like they were like, oh, I'm just going to run track because it's easy or it's an easy pathway to just get a scholarship, whatever. But I think it's just important to kind of show that you can be successful in running track and, you can pave a way with either getting your college paid for or even like what I'm trying to do now, trying to run professionally. I think being from where I'm from, I don't think anybody has gone pro in track and field from Columbia, Maryland. So being the first, I think that only sets a precedent for the future. And me and Brewington were winning state championships. The first time we did it, we had, a good amount of people come to tryouts, but after we won, everybody wanted to be on the winning team. And I think if I show that I can make it doing track from where I'm from, I think it'll make other people think about doing it as well.
Yeah. You want to kind of be like a landmark, like a...
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Put us on the map.
I think that's important. So I kind of, we've talked about like, okay, what you're trying to do, right? But I want to ask about like who put out the building blocks for you? Like, how did those, like your father or like people who came before you, how did they lay the groundwork for you to do what you do?
Well, I think my dad, a lot of people, if you know me, my dad has played a big part in my life. And, ever since I was young, we've been attached to the hip. And he coached me from when I was like 3 to even when I won U20s for a little bit. He coached me. But he showed me like in his business, even when he was training for different things, like, you have to put the work in. And only in the dictionary does success come before work. And I think he's instilled that in me. I think like he's told me like we'll be out here at OM running 200s and it's like 40 degrees outside. And he's like, you got to keep working if you want to be a national champion, you want to be a state champion. And even my mom has instilled that in me coming to this country when she was 12, working to where she's at now, like she's living a dream. And me having my school paid for is like all she could ask for. But I think just my parents instilling work and the work ethic to be where I'm at. It's like I know I can't win a national championship if I'm not working. So
yeah, I find that that's one thing that's like very important to you to like understand and to put on display that it's not just like performing, And actually, as an athlete, right? Have you ever experienced those times where you look at someone else's performance and you see that like, and you're instantly thinking, how did they perform like that?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How does that affect you?
I try to like ground myself and remind myself that I have my own timeline that I'm on. When I was a freshman, I was running 50 seconds. I was nothing crazy. But some people in the country were running 46 seconds as a freshman. And then now I'm running 44, they still running 46. So it's kind of like, because comparison can be the thief of joy. So you got to make sure you got to stay on your timeline and do the work you can because, you're not built like another person. You can only be you at the end of the day. So I'll definitely see sometimes I'm like, bro, how did you do that? Or they'll just come out of nowhere or whatever. But I just got to remind myself to, I got to do what I got to do to be where I want to be.
Yeah. I think with anyone who like wants to be great, like you find yourself having to take those steps back sometimes and level out your playing field and things like that. So I think that's important. I really want to ask though, because we're on this topic, like, what do you see when you look in the mirror? And it's really open-ended. So I want you to really like get into that in many ways.
What do I see myself? How do I see myself when I look into the mirror?
Because what I'm taking from this is like, we talked about those comparative moments, right? So when you're looking at yourself as that benchmark, like, what do you see when you look in the mirror?
I'll take that question. I'll put it as like, I guess kind of how I see myself in that space. And I like pride myself, like I said earlier, like being a hard worker. Like when I see myself, I think I'm the hardest worker in the world. Like, I don't think anybody outworks me. And I do think like I'm very calculated in what I do, and I'm trying to make sure I do the right thing. Sometimes that can be like a pro and a con. But then like I'm just very determined. That's another thing. Like if I set out a goal, like I'm gonna do everything in my power to achieve it. But those are like a couple of things.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah. I kind of want you to open up because I feel like we had conversations. So like, I guess my question is like, let's open it up to a broad scale.
Okay.
Like physicality. Like, do you ever look at yourself and like have those? A lot of people have issues with like maybe like body positivity or body. Like, do you ever like have those things where like you sometimes look at yourself and you're like, oh, but this, if I look like this, I would be doing this.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So like, I definitely, especially like when I was in high school, like I was like, bruh, I gotta drop some pounds. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, bro, you look fine. But I'm like, thinking like if I'm lighter on the track, I'm gonna run faster. But it's also like, if I'm lifting heavier and just getting older, like I'm gonna get a little bit bigger, um, and fill out a little bit more. It's like a fine line of like me gaining weight. It's like good and bad weight. So like that, I'll say that's one thing like I've struggled with is just like making sure I like don't go to like down like a bad path of like where I gotta be like super skinny. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I don't know if anybody else in the track world is like dealing with that or dealt with that, but like I feel like that was like a problem for a while, and even recently, I'm like, bro, like I can't be like over this certain weight or over this certain amount of body fat because I'm not gonna perform like this. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like the case all the time. So I'll say that's one thing that's like, I guess like my struggle to answer your question.
Yeah. There's fine lines that you have to walk when you're working with yourself. When you're trying to like one up yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So with that being said, like how does like having an open mind kind of like contribute to your success? For example, like navigating from one mental point to another, having to change up when having to adjust when you're going from metal to metal, what to improve when you're talking to your coaches, like
Right.
how does your open mind contribute to your success?
Well, to stay on the one topic we were just talking about, I think, if I'm having struggles like that, I think it's important to talk to my nutritionist or my coach to see what he thinks, and go from there. And I think that puts me at ease in that sense. And then I will say, like, for my success, like this past year, I think having a free mind played a big factor in winning what I did. And I think being on the line or like and not thinking about anything but the race puts me at such a big advantage compared to everybody else, because I've had races where I'm thinking about my girlfriend at the time, or I'm thinking about like family stuff, and those races never went well. So like, journaling before my race, just getting out those like those things in your mind you don't really want to think about, I think helps me a lot. Just getting online and being free. Even like when I play basketball, it's like, you want to go out there drop 30, but if you're so focused on dropping 30, you're not even gonna get 10 points. So I think that's one thing. And even like I was so time focused for a while, like I wanted to run 44, and that's all I wanted to do. I didn't care if I came in last. And I think just going into the race and wanting to win and just competing, like, kind of free my mind a little bit to, it don't even matter about the time, just compete, and the time's going to come. That's kind of what happened towards the end of the season. Well, I got you, bro.
Yeah, you got me. Yeah. I think just like some of the things I pulled from that, like you reach out to your support system to kind of keep this vision for you.
Definitely.
Right. When you're going into these things, like you have to keep this vision for you. So what are you looking to focus on next? What are you looking to?
Well, like I'm always in constant communication with my coaches, and I feel like that's another thing that plays into my success. Like if me and my coach aren't on the same page, like I don't know how this race is gonna go, how the training is gonna go. Yeah. So for what's next, I'm gonna have a meet soon. I feel like the interview's not gonna drop before the meet because it's in like a week. But trying to get in the top 10 for the 300 indoors. Want to run back ACCs, win everything I'm in. Try to get some regional awards, and I think at the mountaintop, win indoor indoor fours at Natties, win the outdoor four, break the conference record indoor. So it's like I have a lot on my plate. Um, and even I want to set myself up for getting a contract in the future. Um, but it's like right now, it's like I said before, like I can't be on the line thinking like, yeah, I gotta run for a contract. I gotta go win this national championship. I gotta go qualify for this. It's like I just gotta go compete, execute, and I know if I do that, I'm one of the best in the nation. So like I can go out there and achieve what I want to achieve if I just don't stress myself out too much about the results.
That mental space. What are some other ways that you manage your mental space?
I'll say like talking to my friends, talking to y'all. Um, like I said, talking to my coaches, my parents, is very important. I don't like to hold things in, even if I'm frustrated. Like I'll take some time to just like cool down, but like I do want to talk about what I'm doing, where I'm going, how to improve, so I don't feel like frustrated next time if I had a bad practice or a bad race, whatever. Um, but I think journaling has helped me a lot. Um, just with like getting out those thoughts of my day to day life. Like I just want to be on the line, think about the start line and the finish line, and that's it. Um, I think doing that helped me a lot, and then also just like reading scripture, stuff like that, writing that down, praying before the races, praying before warm up, stuff like that. I feel like helps me be at ease.
Yeah. Keeping your space peaceful. Yeah. That's important. What does it feel like to like carry your name?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I was gonna say something about it earlier when I was talking about my dad. But it's very important to me. Like whenever I get like a certificate with my name on it, and it's just Judson Lincoln, it's like, bro, that's my grandfather. You know. So like being the fourth is very important to me, and I feel like continuing my dad's legacy, is very important. Because he's done a lot for me, and I think he's a great man. So, I gotta act a certain way, because when people say my name, it's his name too. But I love my name. I'm very grateful that they named me after him. And I just want to do everything to, you know, shed good light on the name, and also, in the future, maybe have the fifth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just I love my name. I love him. So yeah.
How do you wanna develop it? Before just having the fifth, like how do you want to develop that history, I guess?
I feel like in the sports world, like if I can my name's a popular name, and in a good way, I think that's one thing. But also like I feel like outside of track, it's like, bro, Judson's a good guy. At the end of the day, like besides track or whatever, like if you see me in school, it's like, bro, he's a good guy. And I try to be a good guy. So I think just staying on that line of, treating everybody how you want to be treated is, all I can do at the end of the day.
It's important. How do you show like that same type of camaraderie when you're like on the field? On the track.
Just with trying to be a good guy, or just
like your teammates, other people, competitors.
I would say I try to be a good leader. I'm not really like a vocal leader. Like I'm not like no Ray Lewis or nothing like that. But I'll talk to my guys, make sure everybody's on the same page, and they know I'm gonna come in and work. So it kind of sets the precedent in that way. I'm gonna lead by example, more than anything. And I think, with people I compete against, a lot of people know each other in the track world. So, I have a lot of respect for a lot of people. There's some people I don't like, but I try to show respect. I'm not gonna start no beef. if there's a beef between me and somebody, it's because they started it. But I try to be a good leader. Try to set a good example, because at the end of the day, like, I got the VT on my chest. So if I'm out there doing something outlandish, you know, it looks bad on me, my coaches, the school, all that. So.
Just strengthening your ecosystem.
Yeah, got to.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah. Judson, I think we really covered a lot. And like I wanna ask you, like, how do you plan to like tinker with track? How do you plan to experiment with track?
Well, I do want to accomplish everything I want to accomplish in the NCAA, and I think that would be a good story just for myself. And I kind of can put my story out there and have a platform to kind of show people, like, you don't gotta be the greatest at 14 years old to have a chance to be a national champion. If you just work hard and, you know, just keep that mindset of working, like, you can do whatever you want. And then I think beyond that, like, getting a contract would be great. Like, doing that as a job would be so fun. And I think that's where, like, I could be really creative of, like, you know, I would love to tell, I don't know, Puma or whoever, like, bro, like, let's put a 40i logo on the other side of my kit. Or, like, let me get some custom spikes of, like, let me get some design that my friend made on my shoes, like something like that. I think that would set me apart just a little bit. Or, like, even with the Oakley thing, like, I would love to have a line of my own Oakleys or something like that. Like, so I don't want to just be out there with the same uniforms everybody else got. Like, I just want to be a little bit different. Not, like, too crazy, but subtly, like, implement things that's different than everybody else.
Yeah. Kind of making it more like normal to be not like an individual.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Justin, I think we covered everything.
Good.
I think we covered everything, and I really appreciate you sitting down here and just making sure, like, you stand on, like, what you believe in, and, like, putting it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That voice crack gonna do waves though. I appreciate it. Love. Yeah, signing out. That's all I got. Yeah.